Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the six-game Tuesday slates, starting at 7 p.m. tonight. Crazy Monday slate with that final game being postponed. Looking back at the video, the core picks were pretty solid. Had De'Aaron Fox, thumbnail go for 60 plus at low ownership. Had Thaddeus Young be unowned and him have another great game without Wendell Carter. That continues to be a trend. And then that final game happened where it did have Barton and that sucks, but at least the sites were giving us our interviews back, so it's kind of a wash. So let's get into this slate. For those in the Northeast, hopefully the snow stops today. It's still snowing as I speak, snowing for like 36 plus hours now. Biggest snowfall in years for PA, well, in at least the part that I live in. So can't wait for it to stop because getting tired of shoveling it. But let's go ahead and look at this slate. As always, really appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I will also be dropping a PGA video as as soon as I finish making this one, I might drop that one before this one for the waste management for Thursday because I've been posting cores on Twitter for PGA and they've been doing great. So let's get started here. 6 games. Won't take too much of your time. If you're enjoying the team, you can visit the website, check out the prize picked promo code. That's all in the description. And without further ado, let's start off here at point guard with James Harden at 10-9. Harden took a rest day, basically. Had like hamstring soreness, I think, or thigh soreness. He's back. Been playing good basketball since he first couple games with the Nets. He was off to a slow start, didn't take a ton of shots, but they've kind of found their happy balance recently. But there's been also a couple times where only a few times have they all three played. So it's going to be interesting to see how that happens going forward, especially in a tough defensive spot. Brooklyn just gives up a ton of points, though. I expect the Clippers to be able to stay in this game, and I expect this game to be close. Just a matter of if the Nets can kind of put up a lot of points on the Clippers defense. Then we have Lillard at 10-7. He's been fine. Great spot against Washington. Blowout loss last night. Only played 27 minutes. Was all right. Wasn't great at all for paying 10,700. So definitely I think he can get back on track, but there are a lot of other guys that I think are underpriced, a lot of other studs. So I don't think he is a must play tonight. I prefer Russell Westbrook at 9,100 just based on price tag. The fact that looks like he's not going to be limited anymore after being limited in his first few games back, 25, 28, 27, then jumped up to 35. Almost had a triple-double, was awesome with that game-winning shot to with like 4 seconds left, coming back, just like the Blazers did the day before. Really like Westbrook. Price tag only went up $100. It's a tremendous spot against Portland. They should pile up the points. And the Wizards, they've had no problem scoring. It's just been a problem with stopping teams from scoring on them. And you have nice price tags on like Malcolm Brogdon, who's only 7,900, playing huge minutes. Tough loss against Philly. Last game they were up by 13 going into the fourth, ended up losing by 9. So that sucks for them without Embiid, but good for my Sixers. Think he looks good at 79. Nice cheap price tag. Very rarely have we seen him be below 8,000 this season. John Morant been playing great. It's just the fact that they continue to be in some blowouts. Back-to-back blowout wins for them against the Spurs. Only played 22 minutes against the Spurs last night. It's against the Pacers tonight, so hopefully they can expect this game to be close, but hopefully the coach plays him a lot of minutes on a back-to-back. Only played 22, so I'm not too worried about it, but they also do play kind of a deep rotation. I think he looks good. There are also like the Toronto guards, if they are going to be missing Powell again. They've already ruled out OG. Powell is questionable. If he misses, then we can look to Van Fleet. Last time it was Lowry that went off. This time I think it could be Van Fleet. Price tag is only 7,400 on Van Fleet. Then Kemba at 67. They are going to be without Marcus Smart for a bit. He's been up and down this season. Shot 1 of 12 against the Lakers. Tough spot for him defensively. Really different matchup now against the Warriors. He looks fine. He's not a core piece personally, though. And then we have some cheap guys to maybe consider. Like Conley could be a nice, decent option at 64. That won't get too much ownership. Also want to see if the Pistons, they said they didn't have 8 guys available last night, which is why they had to postpone the game. We'll see if that game ends up being postponed again today. Would not be shocked if that's the case. So a little bit hesitant to target a lot of pieces from that final game until we get word. Lamb, still back to point guard. Other cheaper options below 6,000 here. You have Cole Anthony. Magic injury bug continues. Now Aaron Gordon is going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Cole Anthony's actually stepped up and played pretty decent. His shooting is still very up and down, but the assists have been solid recently. A decent rebounder as well. And then that's like mainly it. Derrick Rose is pretty cheap, but it's just like who knows if that game is going to even play tonight. So, and the Jazz are very good defensively, so I don't feel great about targeting a lot of pieces in that game. That's mainly it. You could maybe take a shot on some Warriors. We'll get to them because they are going to be missing Wiseman. But I think I'll look to kind of target some guys in the forwards and the center spot. So point guard, it's really Westbrook that I really like. I like the price tag on Morant, Brogdon, and like the Toronto guards if they're still without Powell. At shooting guard, we have Harden at 10-9. I won't be playing him against the Clippers unless, they rule out Irving or Durant. But I don't think that'll happen. I think all three will play tonight. Beal is 99. I like Westbrook compared to the price tag on Beal. I think Mitchell looks okay at 76, but just like I keep saying, a little bit hesitant to target pieces from that game. VanVleet, I like him at 74. I think Wiggins looks fine. The Warriors have also been involved in a bunch of blowouts recently, so only got 25, 28, 31, 30, 25. They haven't had a close game since the 18th of January, and Wiggins usually will play 35 to 36 minutes in close games. Not saying that, there's a chance the Celtics come out and not blow them out, but kind of win easily, but they're without Marcus Smart. Warriors have been playing pretty good basketball recently, so I think this game has a good shot to stay close in, at home for the Warriors. Fournier's tough spot for him last time against the VanVleet had him on lockdown. Only shot 2 of 12. He's 63. Without Gordon, they need a lot of offense. He's in play. I think he could look to Terrence Ross at almost $1,000 cheaper. I like Jeremy Lamb a bit at 54. His minutes have been steady, like 30 to usually getting 30 in close games. Definitely push up for a little bit more. They only took 6 shots last game. Definitely needs to be a little bit more aggressive, but it's kind of doing his thing. It's a decent spot against the Grizzlies. And then we have below $5,000. You have maybe you can take a shot on not a ton, but it's like for tournaments like Joe Ingles or Melton at 45. But if Grayson Allen is 4,100. If he happens to return, that will definitely hurt Melton a bit. And Simons is 43. It's been kind of a revolving door of who goes off for the Blazers in place of McCollum. I'm not feel confident that Simons will go off again tonight, but feel like a couple of Blazers will go off against the Wizards defense. Then I do like Dwayne Bacon, cheap 3,800. He's been pretty steady for the Magic this season. The minutes should be steady tonight without Aaron Gordon. You will probably see mid-20s to high 20s in minutes. Only 3,800. I feel like he could be a decent option. So probably go ahead and plug in Dwayne Bacon as a cheap shooting guard play tonight. At small forward, we have Kawhi Leonard at 9,200. I like the price tag on him. It's against the Brooklyn Nets, another bad defensive team. They can put up a ton of points, but especially Irving and James Harden, they don't like to play a lot of defense. And Leonard should be able to kind of have his way in terms of just scoring the ball. His rebounds should be there. Assists can be there at times. Expect him to play 36 to 37 minutes. Should be a close game tonight, so don't have to worry about a blowout risk for Kawhi. And I think that he's underpriced at 92 compared to where he's been. 97, 98, 10,000, 99. A big price decrease when the matchup is just getting really, really juicy. So go ahead and plug in Kawhi Leonard at 92. Definitely going to build around some studs tonight. Then we have Jaylen Brown. I like him at 78. I think Wiggins looks all right. If Powell's in, could take a shot, but he's not super cheap anymore at 6,400. Oubre looks fine at 57 as well. Lamb looks fine. I mentioned him at the shooting guard position. And then the Clippers have listed Nick Batum as questionable. If he misses, you can look to Marcus Morris, Although last time they started Patterson, I'm not thrilled about targeting him. And then cheap options, you have Eric Pascal at only 3,500. He should see some decent minutes tonight just because Wiseman is going to miss at least a week. So, and the Warriors don't really have a backup center, so we'll see Pascal probably get a lot more minutes at center to back up Kayvon Looney. Because looking at their center spot, it's a lot of red. And then you have Draymond Green. So Looney should see a lot of minutes. Pascal should see a lot of minutes. And maybe Toscano Anderson. Definitely like Kawhi Leonard and his price tag at 92. Moving on to power forward. We have a nice tag on Domantas Sabonis. Very rarely has he been below $9,000 this season. 87 against Memphis. Production has come down a little bit, but it's kind of also been some tough matchups. Philly, they were without Embiid, so just kind of played poorly in that one. But he's a double-double machine. Can get you a triple-double, like with a triple-double some nights as well. I think he looks great at only 87 against Memphis. That probably will still be without Valanciunas, which will just help Sabonis on the offensive end. Tatum is fine. I like the price tag on Siakam at 77. He's benefited a lot without OG in terms of just getting a lot more minutes. And recently, it's been scary to play him at the beginning of the season because he was fouling like crazy. Definitely changed something up. He's been been able to stay out of foul trouble a lot better and a lot more recently than he was at the start of the season. So I think he looks to be a really nice cheap option compared to where he was like at the start of the season. Cheap option in terms of just being, I think, nicely priced. Other guys at power forward, we have like Clark, if they're still without Valanciunas. Oubre looks solid at 57. And then you have Covington's been pretty down this season. Good spot against Washington. Maybe it's a spot where he gets like 4 or 5 steals and blocks combined and kind of gets a lot of fantasy points that way. So I think he's worth a look. Bertan's been struggling. He's 47. I think you could look to Wagner. I wish Wagner was power forward eligible. It'd be easier to get to him. And then Pascal, I think, mentioned him. Looks fine just because they're going to be without Wiseman, and there's like 20 minutes to go around. At center, like Sabonis, I like Nick Vucevic at 82. Gobert is cheap if that game plays at 7,200. You have Plumlee at a pretty good price tag at only 5,000. Tough spot, but they're gonna need his size against Gobert. And then mainly the guys I'm kind of considering. And then there's some cheap options to consider, like Kayvon Looney at only 3,400 should see like at least mid-20s in minutes tonight without Wiseman. Feel good about it. The Celtics are decent defensively, but we've also been able to target them in rebounding over the past few years. They've kind of been better this season by playing minutes with like Tyson Thompson together, but they've done a little bit less of that recently. And I think Looney is just too cheap at 3,400. So definitely like Looney, but I like Nick Vucevic a lot. Again, 8,200. He was fine last game. Could have had a huge game if he could actually hit some shots. Was 5 of 18 from the floor. Definitely an outlier kind of performance. Baines actually did a good job on him defensively, but definitely think Vucevic will have a better game most times than not, at least shooting the ball. And even if he made a few more shots, would have hit 50 Draftkings points. And he lost a few minutes at the end. But without Gordon, he benefits a lot in terms of just rebounding and getting more shots and more usage. So expect Vucevic to probably flirt with 50 Draftkings points, if not more, tonight. And then last but not least, Kayvon Looney. 3,400 looks to be a good option. You have Wagner at 38, also looks solid. But Looney, I think, looks better just because he's starting, and feel confident that he should see at least solid minutes tonight. So that's pretty much it for the DraftKings breakdown. I'm going to jump over to Fanduel and touch on what I like over there. All right, point guard on Fanduel, you start with Damian Lillard at 10,200, then it's followed by Westbrook. Probably think it's a good idea to have. You could definitely think it's a good idea to pay out for one of the two studs. We got a couple more value plays on the slate. We already have some value, so it's not too hard to do that. You also have decent price tags on Brogdon, Morant, Kyle Lowry if they are missing Norman Powell tonight. But there's a couple guys that are just really cheap, and it's going to start with Kemba at 57, just incredibly cheap on FanDuel. He's not been great, but the price tag is tough to ignore. The matchup is solid against Golden State, and without Marcus Smart, that will benefit Walker in terms of getting more minutes and just being able to handle the ball a bit more. Cole Anthony at only 5,000, also another guy that has a good shot to hit 6x value. You have Tyus Jones, Melton, both guys playing decent minutes. Tyus Jones got it done in blowout time last time out, so I don't feel great about him. And then Simons, maybe you can look to him at 38. But probably feel like you want to pay up a bit at point guard. But the one guy that I think it looks just too cheap is Kemba at 57. At shooting guard, Beal, Harden, and Van Fleet are all pretty expensive, especially Van Fleet at 88. I'd probably go George over Van Fleet. I think this position isn't super deep. So, Wiggins looks okay just compared to some other price tags. I like Lamb a bit at 53. Brooks hasn't been spectacular. I don't really feel great about playing him. I like Terrence Ross at only 47, another guy that can kind of get hot, and they're definitely gonna need some of his scoring off the bench. You could also play Dwayne Bacon if you want to, but I feel like Ross has a higher ceiling than Bacon at only $700 more. Small forward, I like Kawhi. Definitely compared to Kevin Durant, you save $1,600. You're gonna get similar minutes out of both, and Durant has a couple of other studs to compete with. Kawhi just has one, and the matchup is better for Kawhi. So I like Kawhi Leonard. I like Siakam at 83. Grant, if that game plays, he's only 68, so that price tag is getting pretty cheap now to maybe take a shot on Fanduel at least. Oubre looks decent. And mainly it. You could look to Rui at 47. You could maybe look at Joe Ingles. But probably want to pay up for at least one stud at this position. And I think it'll be Kawhi Leonard. Power forward, Sabonis looks to be nicely priced at 91. You have also Tatum if you wanted to go all the way up at 95. We're definitely going to have some salary left to pay up for some guys. Wagner seems to be a little bit too expensive. Fanduel at 48. Boucher's been kind of not getting a lot of minutes recently. I feel like he's going to have a big game soon. At only 52, could be worth a shot on a short slate. Birch looks fine at 45. Daniel Tice looks fine at 45 as well. I think Pascal is probably power forward. He's 35. He's min-priced. Also, Bazemore is going to see some more minutes. He's probably small forward. He's 3,500. A few pieces on the Warriors to consider. And we have nice price tags on Tice, 45. Bertans at only 43. So could be a spot to go cheap here. You have Morris if Batum misses. Birch, Tice, Bertans, all four should get some solid minutes in this one. And that's kind of it. So probably take my shot with Bertans in a pretty high-scoring game. 4,300, he looks nice compared to his Draftkings salary. And power forward isn't particularly deep except for two guys at the top. And then moving on to center, I like Vucevic a ton at 8,800. Then you can look to probably going to go with Vucevic or go all the way down to Looney and pay up for all my other guys. I feel like Vucevic can have a big game tonight. 8,800. If you wanted to go to Looney, you can, and then just pay up for everybody else. 3,900 for Looney also looks solid. Probably we'll have no problem getting you 25. See if it can get you more than that. I think Vucevic can potentially drop 60 without Aaron Gordon, so feel a little bit better about paying only 88 for him. And I do like some value plays. So that's about it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and best of luck.